My name is Beauty Soni. I'm born and bred in Mamelodi. Have a BCom degree and advanced internal auditing studies. I've worked for Telkom for a few years and started my own business in 2006 in bin cleaning. I was literally cleaning dustbins. And from there on, I moved to plant hire, where I'm basically doing hiring of plant to the mining industry. During 2020 March, when we had a blow with the pandemic and the lockdown, it was very difficult because all the operation came to a standstill. At that time, the president had announced the compulsory wearing of masks, and I sat down and thought about how one can actually basically diversify business because of also the uncertainties that were happening. I then decided that with a little bit of cash that I had, I checked for a few seamstresses in Mamelodi, looking at the opportunity of trying to produce the masks and making sure that we play in this bigger picture, because I then made the calculation that South Africans, how many South Africans are there? And I thought one can actually share in the pie of the millions of people that are in South Africa.
Doing the mask during COVID it helped me a lot because I didn't have any source of income. Our industry was just closed down. We couldn't do anything. I couldn't do none of. So doing the mask I was excited about it. We involved my mom as well. We started working, and it was exciting because we were getting paid almost every Friday. So we had things to do. We could plan. Our lives didn't be on hold. We had something to do. And till now, till this far, we're still doing it.
We've always been involved in the sewing business relating to our mother. So she's the one who went to school and did everything. So during COVID this year, we were working. So after lockdown, no one was going to work. So we started helping her. So we got introduced with doing the masks. So we saw it as an opportunity because we didn't know what is to come. We didn't know where do we go from here. So we saw it as an opportunity to grow ourselves, to know sewing even more, because we only knew the basics and the interest was not there.
We produced, at the time, I think we produced more than 5,000 masks. We started selling to small companies and individuals, and we advertised on Facebook and WhatsApp groups and everywhere else. And we continued basically with the production, having a few companies that were ordering from us 100 to 200 masks a week. We were busy with the mask, and I also basically realized that whilst we are doing the mask, there is a need also for sanitizing. Then I researched about the fogging machines to do sanitizing, but because I indicated that I've been doing plant hire, I engaged a company in Olifantsfontein in Gauteng to modify one of my trucks, because I have a water truck, where they could modify my truck and make it to be able to sanitize bigger places like stadiums, schools, and other bigger plants. And I also basically utilized a little bit of the savings that I had to modify the truck so that I can also basically substitute the income, because at that time there was no income for at least about 2 months. Everything came to a standstill. So in terms of the sanitizing, what happens is that we approach a company in Johannesburg that specializes in chemicals, and they were supplying us with sanitizers. So would actually sell some sanitizers, about 20 liters, 25 liters, and then we basically also did the disinfecting. As Monenebe, the company that I own, it has been more of a social development than more making money, because the bulk of the money has been going to the people who have been sewing. And a lot of them, they've been grateful, because we came at the time where the lockdown was, we were still at lockdown 5. And at least for every production that they were making, we paid them in advance, and that created a source of income for them. We really appreciated the grant that we got from the UN and SALGA. Firstly, because there are a lot of major companies who are able to produce hundred thousands of masks, most probably in a day or so. And this has basically given us an opportunity. I must indicate that the order from SALGA was the first order that we had of around 1,002. Like I indicated earlier, we received 100, 250, 20. So it was the first big order that we received, which we are quite grateful of. The pandemic was an eye-opener to not rely on just one source of income, and which is what at the time my company Monenebe was relying on. And I realized that during the pandemic time and the lockdown, there should be an alternative. One thing that I have actually seen from the doing of the mask, it has actually opened up my mind about a lot of seamstresses that are sitting with the skill but not organizing themselves in a business form. And I've imparted a lot of business knowledge to them to say, look, this is how we can do it. That is basically one of the things that I have seen COVID has brought, even though it has a bad side of it, but there has been a good side of it. The opportunities have basically increased.